What are we going to do with history? It seems to me that in the old days, the winning team got to decide what the history was for the country, right? So if your country won the war, you get to write the history of the war, and you write it your way. But in the old days, history would have basically one version per country, at least through high school and most of college. You could find other versions, but there would be a mainstream version. Now, history is being written and permanently recorded in the internet. So everything that's happening will just sort of always be there, we think. So how do you deal with the fact that there are two completely different histories? How do you write a history book at, let's say, the college level that would include this era? What would you say about the Trump administration? Would you say Russia collusion was real? Would you say the Fine People hoax actually happened? Would you say that the president really did suggest drinking bleach? Because these are the things that will become the permanent record that become the new way that history is recorded. It's no longer some consensus, winner puts it in one version. Literally, what do you do when you don't have one history anymore? There will be at least two histories, minimum. You argue lots of them. But I'm thinking that, well, let me put it in concrete terms. Imagine if history simply followed CNN's reporting, right? Imagine if they just didn't vary from whatever CNN reported, and we would allow that if CNN ever, corrected anything, that the correction would stand. But basically, that CNN's version of the world, suppose you just took that and put it in a history class or textbook and said, here's your history. It was in the news, and the New York Times agreed with them, and the Washington Post agreed with them. There's your news. Yeah, think about it. Would that be an actual history? That's scary. I don't even know what they will teach in school. Actually, literally, I don't know how they would teach it, because who would agree what the real history was? So here's what I'm thinking is our current situation. When it comes to investing, I'll use an analogy here. In investing, one of the few things that everybody agrees on, no matter what kind of an expert you are on investing, pretty much everybody agrees on one thing. Diversification is really important. Because if you're not diversifying, putting your money in lots of different bets, so that if some of them go bad, you'll at least, by luck, you'll have some that went extra well to compensate. So in finance, if you're trying to pick one winning stock, you're just a sucker, because people can't do that. We know that people don't have any skill to pick individual stocks. Even really, really good people aren't good at it. But everybody can diversify, all right? So diversification fixes most of the problems that you would have in the way you think about investing. You just get that one thing right, you're in pretty good shape. And I think the same thing is going to be true for the news and for history, meaning that you will have to read a diverse bunch of sources to actually have any idea what was going on. So you no longer can take a source and say, well, here's my news. You've got to diversify. If you're not watching the news on the left and the right, you're not watching anything. And I wouldn't say that either of them get it right. They get different things wrong at different times. But if you're not seeing both, you don't know what's going on. You really don't know what's going on.